Stuart, Tiekert, 130 Beach Avenue. I was here a month ago or whatever it was. I'd just like to touch on transparency and the apparent lack of it in the village at this time. And I'm very concerned. The first line of our FOIL policy, our Freedom of Information Law policy, is that the people's right to know the process of government decision-making and the documents and statistics leading to the determinations is basic to our society. Access to such information should not be thwarted by shrouding it in a cloak of secrecy of confidentiality. While I was looking this up, I found another quote by Newt Gingrich, Speaker of the House in the 90s, who said, "One of the things that almost never works is secrecy, particularly secrecy in defense of dumbness." We've had a bunch of discussions about this. We had one last week about the Durkowski report. I do believe we're getting this wrong. We're spending far too much time and energy trying to keep secret public records that people should have. Just last week, I realized that we had paid the village attorneys to withhold several records and redact several other records that I had requested that I had had for 10 years. It seems foolish. These are public records. And we're spending an enormous amount of time. I know, Rich, you're looking like, this is the Pine Street things. You're quite familiar with this, I believe.
No, Mr.
Okay.
Just let him do your comment.
I will. It's silly. It's expensive. It doesn't serve residents well. I don't think it serves you guys well. A few meetings ago, another issue was brought up by Trustee Miller at the 9/22 meeting. She requested opinions from the Committee on Open Government about how this board's taking actions on items that cost the taxpayers money and may not cost the taxpayers money, but they're actions taken by this village. Trustee Miller asked for a written opinion from Mr. Freeman, who's the head of the Committee on Open Government. I'm not sure if that's been received. I do think this is an issue. Just last week, the newspaper reported that the board took action on, you're going to interview outside attorneys for the Jefferson Avenue bridge work. The rationale given was that this action wasn't going to cost any money. I don't believe that's correct. I believe you should get an opinion from the Committee on Open Government. And I would just like to say about that decision, I think the board should seriously consider hiring an outside attorney for Jefferson Avenue Bridge. We have not, with all due respect to Charlie, he's done some great work in the village, but Jefferson Avenue Bridge hasn't gone well. And if litigation goes as poorly as the construction has gone, the taxpayers are again going to take it in the neck. So I hope you will consider everything as you move forward on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Sorry. I rise in agreement with Mr. Tiekert. It's unfortunate that it seems very recently in the last week or so, the village has removed from the FOIL website the ability to see what FOIL requests have been filed. I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's just a technical glitch. If people at home were still able to see that, they would see that Mr. Tiekert has filed 78 hours worth of FOIL requests since June 30th. That is more than almost 2 weeks worth of staff time. for Mr. Tiekert. If that was multiplied
I'm sorry,
by the
is this
19...
addressing the
Excuse me,
board?
don't
I'm sorry.
interrupt him.
Is this addressing the
Don't
board?
interrupt him. You're out of order, please. Public comment, continue.
If I think the board should be aware that if all 19,000 residents of the village made the same number of FOIL requests, it would, since June 30th, be 1,482,000 man-hours of FOIL. I think that the village should take whatever steps necessary to preserve the hard-earned tax money of the taxpayers that are going towards some of these quixotic escapades. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?